Hello and welcome to Spring Commander Forged Alliance. This will be a cast showing the mod. Of course, it has now become official. So I guess everybody who wants to play this game has to find out what it is about. So we're going to look at two players who are top 20. Sometimes they get into the top 10, but Adjutant, in my opinion, the best Aeon player currently. I mean, sometimes somebody like Voodoo plays Aeon, but I think Adjutant, he just plays it all the time. He plays it extremely well. Whenever you face him, you think that Aeon is completely overpowered, but you don't get to face him so often. So I think it's really that fact that you're just not used to facing the Auroras. Let's see how he adjusts to the Engie mod. And of course, Fail Pro, extremely good. He always plays Cybran. So you're gonna see a nice Cybran versus Aeon. Of course, in this new patch, there's been a couple more changes. And interesting, looks like a Light Assault bot first from Fail Pro. And I'm sure these two players have seen each other many times, but of course not on the Engie mod. And interestingly, I think these players don't ever play Engie mod. This might be a little weird for them. And so before this game really gets on its way, my opinion, overall opinion on the Engie mod is that it should have been a mod. It simplifies the game overall, and it kind of takes away a little bit of the strategy. Hopefully I'll make it clear what that is as this game progresses, but I don't want to be too negative about it. It's not like it completely kills the game. There are some interesting things that'll happen, and try to be as balanced as possible. So it looks like Adjutant going second air, not surprisingly. You got an Aurora, it's going to play defense, and really on Rivers there's 3 expansions. You got to get these 2 mass extractors, a whole bunch of rocks here as well, but really the big expansion to the, I guess you could say it's 4 expansions to the back here. You really want to get back there because there's some rocks, the hydro to the side, sometimes the ACU sent to the side, and of course to the middle there's quite a bit of reclaim, but usually to the middle is for whatever reason left till the end. And here we're going to see these hunters from Fail Pro going everywhere. Fail Pro also going second air, and it looks like total 6 speed gens. And an engineer here doing quite a bit of reclaim. I'm gonna check this out. Fail Pro already 200 reclaim, so he would have been stalling if he wasn't reclaiming. And I think that power is allowing him to do this. Let's see what he actually does. Straight up engineers left over from that first factory, but he did send out a whole bunch of hunters, so he just lost one against an Aurora. He does get one hunter in the back, and this is a really great place to send a hunter. It looks like an Aurora is on the case. Auroras are actually quite good playing this defensive game because they get such long range. They're a little slow. And one of the changes in this new balance patch is that the Auroras have been buffed a little bit. Really all that's been done is that they're a little more mobile. They're a little easier to control. That's about all I know. But we'll see. I'm sure Adjutant will take full control of that because he already makes Auroras do wonderful things. Looks like 2 engineers on the power spam, a bomber, 1 engineer on the land factory spam, and let's see if this Mantis from Fail Pro can do something. Looks like a scout has spotted a bomber, so both players currently in terms of air, a scout and a bomber, a little more advanced from Adjutant. And if you're looking to bomb something, expanding engineers, so bombing around that would hit this Engie, then that Engie, then come back and hit the base, probably be ideal. Or you can hit directly where you can try to hit a couple engineers at the same time. Looks like, is that 4 engineers on a power spam from Fail Pro? Fail Pro now moving out with the ACU. Let's see if Adjutant can make him pay here. It looks like all the engineers scattered, and no kills. An interceptor out now, and the bomber for Fail Pro just hang out on the side, trying to be inconspicuous. So this bomber from Adjutant went against directly against the base, and one of the dangers about going directly against the base, there goes 1 engineer. Of course you're going to get spotted, and you're going to be right at the place where the interceptors are produced. So far no bombing from Fail Pro, but Adjutant taking good control. But you can see in terms of expansions, very even between these two players, and nobody has gone to the middle to grab the reclaim. And as you can see, really this game hasn't changed so much that at this stage it's basically the same as it always been. So the Engie mod hasn't made its appearance. But here it is. First successful bomb. Actually, well, Adjutant got one kill, but this is a very important one because there's that engineer was quite advanced, quite far away from home. And here is this bomber gonna get another kill. Yeah, now this is a very important one. Establishing a factory here up on top is very important. So Fail Pro, definitely the better of the bombing. You can see there's engineer presence here and here for Fail Pro. And an engineer just making his way to the expansion and no engineers in the back. I'd imagine Fail Pro sending some Engies in that direction now. Fail Pro is ACU moving up. And where the heck is Adjutant's ACU? Oh, looks like he's moved sideways, so they're gonna meet each other here in the middle. Meanwhile, the air fight looks like some scouting from Fail Pro, but Adjutant's gonna take it. 2 bombers from Fail Pro looking for targets. Let's see what they're gonna do. Perhaps, yeah, looks like they're gonna defend this expansion. Get a drink of water. Now looking at these 2 players' economies, in terms of mass, they're quite even. In terms of power, Adjutant is a bit ahead. Of course, that bomber from Adjutant did create all kinds of havoc in Fail Pro's base, although it only killed 1 engineer. It looks like Fail Pro wasn't able to recover and build a little more power with his engineers. Maybe he just forgot. And that's the thing, if you're able to not forget things in this game, then all those raids are really not that big a deal. Looks like Adjutant picked up nearly 1,000 to reclaim from this position. You can see his reclaim is 1,500. Fail Pro only about 400. And Fail Pro not doing so well. He's got power problems, he's got mass problems. Not what you want to have, because at this Tech 1 stage, if Aeon gets numbers on you against Cybran, you're going to be in trouble. You really want to have numbers with Mantis if you want to have any chance. And here we're going to see 2 engineers dropped off. 2 bombers on the case. And that's going to be easy kills. Good defense there from Fail Pro. Fail Pro also with the transport. That looks like mostly Mantis. I don't think there's any engineers there. It appears we're gonna see a first Tech 2 factory. And one thing that has changed is the cost of the Tech 2 factory. It's not going to be called the headquarters Tech 2. It used to be 800 mass for Tech 2 factory, about 800. Now it's over 1,000. You can actually look that up. But this is for land. It's all different for different. Actually, interesting. It's still 800 factory HQ. I wonder if it's actually different for different factions. Well, that would be just hilarious if it is. No, it's still 800. So the database is wrong currently. The database says 1,000. So the cost of the land factory that it used to be and the land factory now is the same. So both players going to Tech 2. Of course, Cybran did get changed. This Rhino tank is now more expensive, from 200 to 300, but quite a bit more powerful. Very long range, same range as the ACU, and quite a bit of damage per second. This tank is no longer nearly as good because the Rhinos just dominates. And of course, the Obsidian also got a buff, as well as the Blaze. Right here we got a Tech 2 engineer from Adjutant. And really, for Rivers, both these players are very low Tech 1 stage. They really went straight to the Tech 2 when we see Tech 2 engineers. Perhaps cruise missiles. Cruise missiles on this map, extremely powerful. And now with these HQs, the way they work is that if you kill the HQ, all the other Tech 2 factories that you're able to produce. Let me explain what the other Tech 2 factories are. So you can see you have 2 now. One of these is 300 mass, the other one is 800. So definitely, yeah, so the unit database is wrong. The way it's written have to be fixed. Actually, the numbers that were in the unit database were quite exciting. I thought those are nice because the way it is now, it's actually better to build these factories than engineers, because the build capacity of a Tech 2 factory is the same as 4 engineers, and 4 engineers costs 400 something mass. So if you're playing with the current balance, it's much better to take one of these to a Tech 2 factory, not Tech 2 HQ, but one of these Tech 2 land factory. You get more build capacity, plus it has way more health than an engineer's. So what it does is it makes it that the Tech 1 factories that you made makes them viable in the Tech 2 and the Tech 3 stage. And it's kind of counterintuitive. The original idea for this was to make less clutter by reducing the need for engineers. But actually, if you think about it, people would make a whole bunch of Tech 1 factories, destroy the Tech 1 factories, take engineers, and assist a few Tech 2 and Tech 3 factories, which actually made a whole bunch of new space in the base. So from the games that I've seen in Engie mod is that it's actually much more cluttered because people don't destroy their previous factories. And of course clutter creates lag because then units need to find paths. So it's totally backwards, and quite disappointed that this yeah, you can see now a whole bunch of these Tech 1 factories now turning into Tech 2. We got a great target for cruise missile. We have some TMD here, which will not cover that Tech 2 power. And some hoplites from Fail Pro. Blazes versus hoplite. These are the new blazes, but of course these new blazes actually look quite good. One thing that they do is they don't miss, but really their primary role is to go on water. But the hoplites outrange. On the other side we got more blazes. A bit disappointed we're not seeing obsidians. It looks like the sites have been taken by FailPro. So FailPro definitely an advantage in terms of map control. Quite a few more Tech to mass extractors though for Adjutant, so he still got more mass production. In terms of power, also Adjutant doubling the mass production of FailPro, and some nice Tech 2 point defenses. So this HQ right here, if this is destroyed, actually there's only the HQ, so FailPro playing this just as if this is not Engie mod and he's assisting, and 8 engineers here is the same build capacity as one of these, and of course that's not as efficient as taking these factories which are not producing anything, taking those to Tech 2 and having them produce units. Looks like FailPro also with some Tech 2 point defenses. Both ACUs at Tech 2. Some changes have been made to the Aeon ACU. Now he's got the... Actually, let's check out what those costs are. As we got all kinds of crazy things happening on both sides. And actually Adjutant here getting ran over a little bit. I don't think he's in too much danger. I think... Yeah, Adjutant forced to pull his blazes back to play defense. But now he's going to push them back. The thing about hoplites, you don't want to rush in like this with them once they get close range. They just don't have the health to do this. They're going to get massacred. He should have stayed in the corner doing some kiting. But there have been some adjustments to the upgrades on the Aeon ACU. Of course, this upgrade right here is much cheaper. It's about twice as cheap as it used to be. It's the sensor system. It's got a nice Omni. Excellent upgrade when you're doing point defense creeps. And then I believe there's other things. Yeah, so this is much cheaper now. Only 50,000 power and 2,000. So this chrono, this basically freezes units in a certain radius. This is much cheaper than it used to be. Of course, Tech 2 and gun, that hasn't changed. But it appears that FailPro has really got deep into Adjutant's base. Adjutant did a little too much upgrading, it seems, and didn't make enough units. And now he's losing Tech 2 mask structure. Of course, there's a whole bunch of Manta in here, which did the job. And my question is, where's the blaze? Sorry, where's the obsidian? I'm seeing the blaze now. The hoplites. The range in this game is a beautiful thing, and one thing comparing Supreme Commander Forge Alliance to other games, you can see how small the unit is versus how far it can shoot. That really gives a lot of flexibility for unit speeds, things like that. Of course, something like that would be impossible without the zoom. But overall, a successful attack, you gotta say, from FailPro. You see a lot of dead mass extractors, left a little bit of wreckage, but now FailPro is in a position to go ahead and tech, although tech to air and tech 3 land. So FailPro going straight to tech 3. And of course now these units can go, they can either be a HQ. It's nice to have multiple HQs in case one of these gets killed, or they can be and looks like FailPro is self-destructing his units. He wants to get a lot more space around this factory, so they're going to do the inefficient thing. One thing that has happened, both the bricks and the bricks and the Perseus, is now they take longer to build. You need more build capacity to get them out faster. And of course, for Aeon, the sniper has been buffed. Gunships not gonna make it, and going tech to air versus Aeon is quite suicidal. Most good Aeon players are gonna get swift wins. We're not seeing swift wins yet, but here we're seeing still factory assist. And the great thing about factory assist is you can take this build capacity, switch it between different factories. For example, if you want to quickly get swift ones, you take all these engineers, put them on that factory, and really the tech 2, tech 3 stage becomes, you got these engineers in your base which you put to different projects. Get rid of all the tech 1 factories, reclaim the mass, get a very clean base, get rid of the tech 1 power, makes it even better. And here Adjutant moving in with a whole bunch of blazes. Interesting that he decided that the blaze is such a good unit. Let's see if he got any upgrades. Yep, he's got the chrono. You can see the range, the yellow range. Any unit in that range is going to be frozen. You can see it working now. So all these loyalists. Yeah, this is a very powerful weapon. Yeah, that's very sad for the loyalists. Very nice counter to take 3. And if Adjutant would overcharge a little more often. So Adjutant just walking directly into FailPro's base, freezing all these units. Great use of the chrono. I guess in this case you just gotta take all your tech 3 away if they get close. But Adjutant here playing a little dangerously. These forces and actually interceptors here frozen as well. So flak with Adjutant would be really nice. And it looks like Adjutant has run out of units. He left a whole bunch of reclaim, froze a whole bunch of engineers, and now brick and take 2-point defense, and Adjutant will now retreat. 37 kills and tech 3 land. Now let's check out how expensive is a tech 3 factory. 750 mass. That's just crazy. So I wish the costs were the ones that are actually in the database right now, where it was 500 mass to get one of the factories, about 1,000 for an HQ, so it was actually more expensive than it is currently. So it kind of gives the tech 1 stage a little longer. It gives the tech 3 factory is also more expensive, so you get longer stages. And then if you could relegate the engineer production from these supporting factories to just the HQ factory, and that's important because right now for 300 mass you can take this factory and then turn it to tech 2, and then for another 160 mass get a tech 2 engineer and get started making cruise missiles here, instead of having a transport a tech 2 engineer. So it really simplifies things. Still no swift wins from Adjutant, and Adjutant here using his Engies to get out the Harveys. bricks for Failed Pro, Tech 2-point defenses. And gotta say, this game is quite even. Adjutant getting ready, I'm sure, for some Tech 3 mask extractors. Some Tech 2 flak. A lot more Tech 1 mask extractors for Failed Pro. See, he's still sitting on a whole bunch, sitting on 20 of them. Adjutant, in terms of Tech 1, is sitting on 11. And he's got 14 Tech 2s. While Failed Pro only on 10. But overall, actually, a bit of an advantage for Failed Pro. That's the map control advantage. A couple Harbies here in the corner. I'd love to see some snipers from Adjutant. Those are now cheaper. Doesn't look like he's planning on doing that. You can see it's 640 mass instead of the Harby that's 840. Much longer range on this. And I guess now they can run around while shooting, so you can kite them like the Aurora. And now a rather large force coming in. Bricks. They forgot their stealth. They need to bring their stealth fields with them. Actually, no, they got a couple. So for Adjutant, I guess, yeah, now he can't see him. Yeah, he's unable. Perhaps Failed Pro had some power problems before. Yeah, but Adjutant can't see that there's a force here. All he is seeing is that now there's shots coming out of nowhere. All he can really do is rush in. He's got to get visual and actually interceptors. Appears he's going to take 3 air there. But a couple scouts from the air factory would completely negate all the stealth. Now, actually, I think these bricks are in a bit of trouble. It's a lot of Tech 2 and Tech 3. Though the Harbies are dying. I think the bricks will survive. All the Harbies, one Harby left. 3 bricks left, and Harbies retreated a whole bunch of Tech 2, so a whole bunch of reclaim for whoever wants to take it. Also some Tech 3 already. Yeah, this force is still alive. They're gonna keep moving. I think Adjutant may need his ACU to defend against this. No reason to keep his ACU here. Doesn't look like there's any attacks coming through this direction. But that Krun Dampener, definitely a good choice against a force like this. Have him freeze and then just shoot arty at it all day. Looks like Adjutant is going for shields, and we can see a couple more Tech 3 land factories. So the equivalent of these would be 24 Tech 1 engineers, which is approximately what we have here. But much more difficult to kill one of these, which is 10,000 health, unlike an engineer, which is 120. Of course, another thing that building these gives you is that it's much more difficult to kill you. And one of the things that you can do is make the HQ somewhere way back in the base and make these factories up front and have them take a lot of hits. Because 10,000 health for 700 mass is better than a Tech 3 unit. Making shields, of course, will get you a little better ratio of health for mass, but otherwise these are very solid structures. Harvey's trying to go from the side, but of course bricks do have the range on them. But actually this is a lot of Harveys. I think they will win this. And now we got an arty fight back and forth. This Tech 3 power is so far up front, quite dangerous. Hives have also been buffed. And I'm afraid to say anything because I know the database is not quite accurate. And this could be a huge gift from Failed Pro to Adjutant, a lot of reclaim. But more loyalists now coming in. Tech 3 mask extractors. Yeah, now Failpro's eco is just going through the roof. These are also Tech 3, however, but only want some Tech 3 power and some restorers from Adjutant. Restorers would easily take the sides, plus they have really nice air. But the Cybran trebuchets, yeah, this is all going to disappear quite soon. Very disappointing we're not seeing any Corsairs from Failpro. He did make some gunships, but Corsairs are so potent to picking off this Tech 2 power. This has been unshielded all game, instead of those gunships that I don't think did much. Could have really ended this game. Also sniping TMDs. Get a cruise missile launcher somewhere in this position, and now a spider. And there's been a change to the spider. It is now has a stealth field, not just for itself, but for a wide range around it. So you can use it as a kind of like a Tech 3 sonar that you have for Cybran in the water. Now Spider Bot can do that on land. And another interesting, of course, Spider Bot can go underwater, so it can be a really nice stealth generator for you underwater. It is now only 19,000 health, 19,000 mass that it costs. So we'll see how this works out. So Fail Pro. See if we can see this. I guess it's the gun range. It's the yellow marker. That's everything in this range is stealthed. See, Adjutant sees no units here. Here, minute 30. Some restorers doing a good job. We're actually seeing a bunch of Corsairs doing air fights against restorers. This is not what you want to do if you're Fail Pro, but of course he's got that Spider Bot which has not been scouted, and it's completely stealth. Actually, there's no radar coverage here anyway. Now it looks like the Spider Bot is getting a lot closer. That's why some of these units have now appeared on radar. And here comes the spider, some visual. Yeah, and Adjutant's ACU getting some upgrades. Imagine it would be the primary target if Fail Pro knows where it is. Looks like he's not going to go toward the main base. He's going to try to avoid all these Harpies. The Harpies going to chase the spider. Actually, the Harpies might, this many Harpies might kill the spider. But the spider's going to try to go as deep as possible. But of course, this opens up the main base. A whole bunch of loyalists come in. You can see exactly what Fail Pro is doing. He's opened up the door. Adjutant, meanwhile, is going to run away. But Adjutant's main base is under attack from a bunch of loyalists. And actually, Harvey's not doing too good. And an overcharge for you from Adjutant would be nice. Or actually, that Chron Dampener would be nice as well, if you could freeze the Spider Bot. And yet, losing Tech 3 power here is huge. And I don't think. Oh yeah, some snipers. Actually, seeing those in action. But even though the spider looks like, oh, that was some nice veterancy there. Yeah, not much base left for Adjutant. So it looks like Fail Pro. Oh, well, I missed this. A whole bunch of restorers. Fail Pro though under some shields and Tech 3 anti-air. But I think in this situation, restorers should just go after Fail Pro's ACU. No reason to do anything else, because this spider is not going to die. I think throwing everything at this ACU now would be the best way to open up. Restorers are just going to die. The last chance. Actually, a little bit of Tech 3 power. And here we've seen the HQ has been destroyed, so these factories, once they produce their final Harvey, you can see they can no longer produce anything. They can only produce Tech 1. So they have a Tech 1 factory with a big build capacity. It's a build capacity of 90. So it's nearly 5 times, it's 4.5 times as big as the Tech 1 factory. Fail Pro making mass fabs as a joke, I guess. And not much left for Edgerton. I'll actually just speed this up. I would imagine Edgerton would probably just go ahead and quit. Yep. So hopefully people enjoy this one.